status.
War in the Glass City? Not today, but a military simulation has our local troops prepared for urban war. Good evening, everyone. I'm Jim Carey. Our top story on 13 Action News Nightbeat, preparing for the worst right here in the Glass City. And when you think of the U.S. military and soldiers, perhaps you picture them fighting overseas. But September 11th proved that the enemy can strike anywhere. So earlier today, and again in about 1 hour, local Marines will take up positions in downtown Toledo. That's right, but it's only part of a training exercise designed to teach forces how to fight in urban settings. 13 Action News photojournalist Justin Bilo has the sights and sounds of today's training.
We're practicing MOUNT, which is military operations on urbanized terrain.
You got Marines dead over here, taking gunfire. What are you going to do?
The purpose is to develop a basic proficiency in the weapons company Marines in handling and fighting in this type of environment.
Come on! You're wasting time! People are dying, the enemy is moving!
What do you got? What do you have?
Large open area!
These Marines, they have, some of them are students, they have jobs outside, so when they come in on Friday or Saturday morning, they're a little rusty.
We keep moving, you've got to make decisions, you're taking fire.
You've got a lot of people bunched up. Somebody take charge and let's go.
After a few hours, they tend to get the rust shaken off, and they're improving today already.
Fine, get to the doorway! Door! Hold on, rethink something. You've got a doorway there. You've got the way you came. You've got another doorway out there. Think outside the box. Come on, let's go. Now you're starting to think in the 3D environment. Good.
We look forward to having them proficient in just the basics, nothing elaborate. We want them to know keys like communication, weapons handling, and basic tactics and rooms, things like that.
And troops are with the Marine Corps Reserve Company based in Perrysburg. Now, in just about an hour, the second exercise is expected to begin at the old Blood Bank building on Monroe Street. Now, we're told Monroe Street will be closed to traffic between Huron and Erie between midnight and 2 a.m.
In other news this evening, the Marines invaded downtown Toledo early this morning. It was all part of an overnight exercise aimed at preparing some local Marine reservists for urban warfare. The exercise was just pretend, but it sure looked real.
Let's go!
Downtown Toledo looked like a scene straight out of Kandahar. The streets filled with the sounds of real warfare.
We're preparing an assault from another force.
This Marine Corps Reserve Company, based in Perrysburg, moved into downtown Toledo last night. The platoons conducted what's called low-intensity military operations on urban terrain, or MOUNT training.
We really appreciate this chance to show off what we can do and hopefully give faith to the local community that if they need us, that we're ready to support them.
One team defended a vacant downtown building while the other attacked.
My Marines on the defensive side have set up booby traps, trip flares, noisemakers, essentially loud firecrackers to disorient the enemy that'll be trying to attack us.
We have prepared for this over the past few drills with several classes and practical application exercises.
We would expect to take a higher level of casualties in this kind of operation, and without training to it, we almost certainly wouldn't succeed.
Toledoans came out to watch and show support.
If it really does come down to it, to where this actually happens in our town, we need all the backup we can get.
I don't do it for the glory. I really feel I have a duty, and hopefully we'll be prepared after this training.
The man charged with defense.
Lifestyles for Ladies Only is, as its name implies, a place Lindy Fillions can exercise, minus the prying eyes of guys.
It's something that's unique to Toledo. I've never seen it anywhere else, so that's nice.
Ladies Home Journal, though, hit on health care more than health clubs. You want good skin days, decent cost of living? Toledo's right up there.
Good shopping.
The Journal's pretty high with Erie Street Market, and the zoo gets good marks, too.
It depends on what you want to do. Like, I don't know, we just like hang out and go to different places around town.
How about art? The Journal loves Toledo's museum. For architecture, can't go wrong in the Old West End, whether it's God's House or Manor House. Speaking of home.
I mean, there's a little crime, but not as much as you would see in a really big city. I mean, actually, I think it's kind of quiet. I think it's a place where I want to raise my kids.
It's growing. It's getting better. Yeah, I feel safe. I have a great job. I feel like I work in a company that is run primarily by women in executive positions.
Not too surprising considering that Toledo ranks 24th in the number of women professionals. Of course, other parts of the Glass City aren't quite as pumped up.
It needs more clubs. A Walmart. No, other than that, I not really.
Except maybe, well...
If it's such a good place for women to live, then we should have better men.
My boyfriend is from out of town, so.
After 10 days of traveling and stopping in 5 different countries, these exhausted 5 sick children finally make it to Toledo.
Unbelievable trip. I've never had a trip like this before in my life, never. But we won. That was good.
For about a year, the ISO Impact team worked on bringing these kids to the Glass City to get medical care.
First of all, you line up all the doctor's appointments. Then you find a bed for everybody to sleep in. Then you find food for everybody to eat.
The kids range in age from 3 to 14. There are 4 girls and 1 boy. This girl named Shura has major hip and leg problems. ISO officials say back in Tajikistan she wouldn't get the right medical attention or care.
That if the child isn't perfect, then it's a problem for the child in that they're cast-offs. They're left out of things, so far as acclimating themselves.
The children will stay in this house with ISO Impact officials, and in just 2 days their doctor's visits will begin.
She said that she come to America and her leg will be better. Yeah.
11-year-old Fazi came from Tajikistan 4 years ago. He wants to learn about his country from his new playmates.
I could learn my language and talk to him about Tajikistan.
Fazi and ISO Impact officials hope the kids get the medical attention they need so they'll be able to lead a healthy and normal life.
That's all we had at the time. But as you can tell, this is the kitchen, and my wife likes to say that this is her kitchen.
Left hook, boom, okay?
Sure, these kids are learning to box, but police say they're also staying out of trouble.
What we try to do is we try to get them into the program to keep them off the streets, give them something to do, keep them busy.
Tonight's boxing is part of a program put on by the Toledo Police Athletic League, known as PAL. But when they're not throwing jabs in the ring, PAL also helps them hit the books.
We get tutored and then, we come and we work out and, we need help, they help us.
We sometimes take our homework up to the gym time and they would help us do that.
Besides help with schoolwork, officers show the kids how to conduct themselves so they don't have to end up, or in some cases, go back to the wrong side of the law.
Keeps them off the street, keeps them out of violence, keeps them off of drugs, and gives them something positive to work forward towards.
And it's the positive environment that makes PAL a true friend to these kids. The sounds of baseball echoed throughout the Seagate Center earlier tonight for Fandemonium 2002. Muddy Mudhen was in top form, but for fans, the night was about meeting players.
The highlights are always when the big guys come down and spend time with the fans. That's the highlight.
The big guys, of course, Detroit Tigers such as Damian Easley and Shane Halter in town to sign baseballs and bats. The big leaguers able to draw a crowd in January, but come spring, the crowd will be at Toledo's brand new Fifth Third Field.
From driving by it, I think it's going to be awesome. I can't wait to go there this spring.
To go to Fifth Third and how nice that's going to be, I'm looking forward to it, definitely. I know the players will when they see it.
And all Toledoans will get to see the Glass City's new showpiece when the first pitch is thrown at Fifth Third Field for opening day on April 9th.
turn.
These women are learning how to fend off a bigger, stronger male attacker.
You can bend fingers, you can kick, you can use your brain.
Instructor Jeff Prather has developed a training style used by the U.S. military. In an all-day course, he showed women that it is possible to fight back.
To be responsible for their own safety and to empower themselves as human beings, as capable human beings, that they can protect themselves.
Women learned everything from how to escape while being pinned down, how to fight inside and outside a car.
Yes, roll off, roll off.
The course also dealt with risk reduction and threat awareness. Susan Smotherman attended the class with her 14-year-old daughter.
I don't want to be afraid to travel. I want to know that I can take care of myself in a bad situation, and that she will have the insurance that she has options rather than just submitting to an attack.
After this hands-on course, the last thing these women will do is submit to an attacker. They say they'll be ready for any situation.
Roll, arms. Yes, there it is. Go, get away. Don't hang out there. Good.
Street barricades signaled trouble in downtown Findlay tonight.
Yeah, everything's pretty well lost.
Bill Johnson told us the fire started in his apartment.
I had just left my apartment. My son and I had walked down the back stairs, come back up, and the apartment was completely ablaze.
Tonight, he got a closer look at the damage.
It's totally destroyed.
When fire crews arrived on the scene around 5:30, they found 2 people trapped.
Well, we still had 2 people in the rear of the building. After a few minutes, we did manage to get some people around to the back and were able to get up and then bring them out with air packs.
Fire crews worked quickly to put out the blaze.
They went right through the fire. They had to go through the main entrance, and the main entrance was on fire, and they went right in. I had got to hand it to the fire department. They did an excellent job.
Despite the hard work of those firefighters, many families now must deal with apartments damaged by fire, smoke, and water.
Well, a lot of people got to start all over. I noticed a lot of people on the 3rd floor that have nothing left. So they got to go and buy everything from scratch.
The Red Cross stepped in to help some families find shelter for the night. Tonight the lights were out, so nobody stayed home.
Well, we're here because we don't have any power and no cable TV, and we're here to watch the game.
Football fans and families flocked to places like Frickers. Cold at home? How about some hot wings? And nothing beats a big screen for watching the bowl game.
We're here because our cable vision is out tonight.
Tonight, many residents without power set out in search of a TV set. Someone could actually plug in and see something.
We lost our food and everything, so after all their games today, we thought we could at least get together and watch the game tonight at Arnie's.
Customers crowded the bars and commiserated over cold beers.
We have no power for the 4th straight day, and we're not happy.
No power, no party.
We're here tonight because we were supposed to go to a Super Bowl party at VFW 606, and they had food coming in, big party, and they had to cancel it because their electricity was out.
But with the hot wings came some hope.
Hopefully we'll have power soon.
When we go home, we're going to have electricity.
Electricity, that's right.
It broke my heart.
Tonight, Dr. Linda Green and her own children looked through photos of the kids she's trying to help in Tajikistan. She'd hoped they'd be here in Toledo tonight.
Yes, that was the original plan, but we've had a lot of hurdles to jump.
Green traveled to Tajikistan on behalf of ISO Impact, a local humanitarian group. About 2 weeks ago, she left for the former Soviet Union carrying suitcases filled with clothing and medical supplies. In December, the group sent more than 1.3 million pounds of humanitarian aid.
There is no heat in Tajikistan. They have these little electrical heaters. There's no medical supplies.
She was going to bring back 5 children approved for medical care here. But she says she ran into diplomatic problems. First, getting approval from the U.S. government to bring the children to America. Then with her own visa.
We were leaving Moscow, and they took our visas.
Green was able to leave, but forced to leave the kids behind.
Sharing it is something that they ought to live with.
That sentiment echoed, along with the music, among most skaters here at the Tam O'Shanter Ice Rink tonight. The Russians and Canadians should share the gold.
I think since they already awarded the Russians their gold medal, they kind of deserved it too. It would have been unfair if they would have taken it back.
No, I don't know how else they would have handled it other than doing the routines over again and having a new judge, which is not feasible. So other than that, I don't know how else or what other fair way there would be to do it.
But not everyone agrees on 2 golds.
I don't think it's right that the Russians get to keep their gold medals, simply because I don't think they deserved it.
But I think that Russia shouldn't have one just because they've had one forever. It's time to give up the medal.
Sorry, they'll share. And no doubt these skate lovers will get their share of even more controversy as officials sort out why the Russians won the gold in the first place.
You got the X block here.
Business owner Sandra Thomas opened this deli on North Detroit and Highland about 6 months ago, a move she's regretting now. 6 months open, 6 months of problems.
Like little idiotic people threatening, oh, we're gonna blow up the store.
That's not all. Thomas says gang members keyed her truck right on the building and throw trash.
Stop loitering and littering. You understand what I'm saying? Because every day, it's an everyday problem. Every day. And you got decent people want to come to the store. You understand me? They're afraid. Like I said, they're afraid.
They went in there terrorizing the store.
Toledo police have beefed up patrols in the area. This evening, we spotted at least 9 officers on bikes.
The area crews usually know who the main players and the main troublemakers are. Usually they're warned once not to loiter. If we come back and they're loitering, we usually cite them or take them in.
Police say this guy frequents the area. They arrested him for outstanding warrants.
You understand what I'm
saying?
I know your concerns, but the complaints from Thomas and neighbors have caught the attention of City Councilman Mike Ashford, whose district includes North Detroit Avenue. He says neighbors need to go the extra step and set up a block watch.
Because they can serve as the eyes and ears of criminal activity that's going on. And it asks the police to get involved, by having more presence.
But until that happens, Thomas says her only choice may be to close her business.
We're buying another store somewhere else. And that's sad, you know what I'm saying? That the community is gonna, they're gonna miss out on a lot, If this keep up, they will never have nothing in this neighborhood that's nice. Never.
I have my moments about leaving.
3851 Brookside's been awfully good for Chris and Jeannie Hardman the last 10 years. But even though they've gotten it decorated just so, it's time to downsize.
As we thought about it, it certainly was enticing to know that interest rates were so good.
2 houses down the street sold within a week.
Of course, it helps that they live in Ottawa Hills, but market-wide, Toledo area realtors have sold 200 more houses and condos the second quarter this year than the same time last year.
This home sector, is strong and frankly, might even get stronger.
No doubt, UT's Gary Moore says interest rates have had a lot to do with it. This week, you can still get a 30-year fixed mortgage, no points, for less than 6%. 1-year adjustable, 3.5%.
A lot of people buy their homes just because they like their home.
Besides, Moore says, compared to the stock market, a house still looks like a more stable investment, even if Toledo's average sale price is off about $3,000 from last year.
We've had pretty decent traffic.
The Hardmans are asking more than twice the average sale price, but they say they're under no pressure, financially or otherwise, to move too quickly.
If we had to stay here 6 months, a year, 2 more years, we could certainly do that. The past 11, and yet the time still seems right.
To the home plate gate. We're all the way around to get tickets? It's only, we got to go 1 block up in the home plate gate.
Whenever the Mud Hens are home, Officer Andre Cole and his partners are tour guides and traffic controllers.
Beep, beep.
Pedal Patrol covers it all.
There's a lot of things that you see on the bikes that you don't see in the car. You can sneak up on a lot of things.
You catch a lot of people doing things that they're not supposed to be doing because they just don't expect you to be showing up.
Sheriff's deputies handle security in the ballpark itself. One of the biggest jobs outside, though, is watching the cars in the parking lots to make sure nobody messes with them while you're inside.
Lots happens in 4 or 5 square blocks.
Pulled up on a guy that was actually getting ready to smoke some crack. He never even seen us. Never even seen us till he was getting ready to light the pipe.
They've had as many as 8 arrests in a single night, but
that's more prevention. Let people feel safe coming down here to the ballpark.
An ounce of prevention, a pound of PR.
You got to wave to the camera first. Got to wave. All right, there you go.
The downside.
Just exhaustion, just being out here every day, and it's been so hot.
Of course, sometimes paybacks are rich.
We wanted to see the fireworks. Wanted to see if compared to Boston. Almost. They got us into the game and helped us out.
So tonight, Lisa DeChico brought water and juice.
They're good guys and they work hard. Girls, too.
Then again, it's not exactly an arm twister.
You ride a bike, watch baseball for the summer? Okay, I'd do it.
Kind of a no-brainer there.
Still on his back. There's the dog hanging in midair, unconscious, his jaws firmly closed on steel cable.
This 45-pound pit bull, tranquilized, remains off the ground by his teeth.
I didn't think it was possible for an animal to do that. There's nothing inhumane. We didn't do anything bad to this animal. But Nina, if that animal got a hold of you, I'd have to have him surgically removed. This is not something that you want out running the streets of Toledo.
Skeldon showed us parts of the video that was shot about 5 years ago. In one part, it showed this pit bull tugging at a catch pole and bleeding.
He immediately grabbed the catch pole, wouldn't let go. A grown man could not get the catch pole out.
The dog became too vicious and unmanageable. Skeldon says he had no choice but to sedate him, resulting in this.
Their problem with it, I believe, was that it shows what their dogs are capable of, what they're being bred to do.
Now as you look here, this is from above.
The Washington Animal Foundation, a group which objects to labeling of pit bulls as a vicious breed, says it's animal cruelty. The Humane Society investigated and decided Skeldon did nothing wrong.
We're going to take this into federal district court and we'll address the breed-specific legislation in the state law which declares the American Pit Bull Terrier a vicious dog, and will ask for a restraining order against Tom Skeldon.
The group's not just fighting Skeldon, it's also fighting the Ohio law that labels the pit bull a vicious breed and makes the penalties tougher for pit bull owners.
There you go. You're a young...
It didn't rain this morning.
I was seriously thinking about taking the chopper to it and just mowing it down.
Ron Brining, a local farmer, saw no other way but to bite the bullet, chop the corn, and suffer a loss of thousands of dollars until this morning's rain.
everything looks a lot better since the rain this morning. The corn, it's amazing how much it'll grow in one day.
Farmers are facing cornfields half the size and corn ears too small to sell.
This one is a bad one.
Why is it bad?
Because it's too small, it's not ready. A lot of the corn is like this.
Take a look. After about an inch of rain today, cracks are still visible in the ground.
We can still take a lot of rain. The ground's real dry and it'll absorb a lot.
Helping fruits like melons that have yielded only about a third of what's normal.
The earlier you can get the crop in, you know, the more money you make. But like I said, there'll be some melons here, but you know, you only see like one melon on a plant when there should be 4 or 5.
Here you go. Thanks a lot.
But the size or the quantity isn't keeping customers away, who say they want to support local farmers.
I haven't noticed it fluctuating that much. They seem to keep the prices pretty reasonable and pretty competitive there.
It is too late for some crops, but others still have a chance, as long as there's a chance for rain.
That's why I say if we do get a lot of rain tonight, the ground is so dry, it might lay on top for a little while, but it'll.
Lots of nervous energy. That was the mood tonight inside Scott High School's cafeteria. It's the last rally as a group for Issue 2, but not the last of this campaign.
Yeah, there's still a long way to go. You know, we're 24 hours away, but it's going to happen, and it's important, and we're going to get it done. We've got all the people lined up, and we just got to make it happen. Issue 2 is so critical for our future.
My gut is telling me we're going to pass. This is going to pass. It's going to be close, but we're going to pass because I just feel good about it.
Dr. Sanders hopes he's practicing his victory dance, but he's not guaranteeing a win by any means.
I'm optimistic, but we're not taking anything for granted. We've got to get our vote out, and if people come out who are supporting us, we're going to get this done.
On the other side, opponents of Issue 2 had no band or chance tonight. Just one message to voters: go to the polls with confidence.
Vote how you feel, okay? But look at all the issues out there, okay? Have they answered all your questions? They have not answered all of my questions. There's a lot of people out there that they haven't answered their questions for. Make the Toledo Public Schools responsible for this money that they want from us.
And their gut feeling before the polls open?
We'll just have to wait and see what happens tomorrow. I'm pretty confident that it'll probably get voted down. I'm hoping it does, so we can go back and maybe revamp and change their master plan, as they call it.
That plan, an estimated $800 million, 12-year project to rebuild or renovate most of the 69 TPS schools. Deck the malls with men and bags of presents, and they're barely getting started.
All right, so who are you buying for? Wife, kids, my dad.
And you're starting right now?
Starting right now. Yes, I am.
There's no coincidence that most of tonight's shoppers are guys. Ask them why they waited until now to start shopping. Excuses?
We got other things to do. You know, the wife drive you crazy.
Excuses?
School just got out.
Excuses.
It's extreme loathing of shopping. Crowds are fine, extreme loathing of shopping.
Bob Marks is waiting until tomorrow to start shopping.
All the men were out here procrastinating. I said it's too early to be shopping for Christmas. We have all day tomorrow.
Or maybe most of these men are walking in circles because they want to find the best deal. Some say good deals come to those who wait. The days before Christmas can sometimes be the best time to find last-minute bargains.
I think if you come at the end, you can pick up a few bargains here or there, so come at the end, everybody. That's what I say.
It better be a diamond. If you're going to wait till the last minute, it better be a diamond.
And speaking of, this jewelry store depends on these procrastinating guys. A third of their annual business comes from men during this month alone.
It's something in the male gene. It's impossible, and jewelry is a great last-minute gift. What woman doesn't want a nice piece of jewelry for Christmas?
So for most of these men, their deadline to finish Christmas shopping as soon as possible. This guy's deadline was
by halftime, Monday Night Football.
Okay, Toledo, here it is, our 2002 Hooch Parade!
Straight from the pound to the mound Not quite, but to a Paul. They're ready to go a few extra innings. From Dudley
He likes to play ball.
to Oscar
They can fetch, they can catch.
to Buttercup, whose mom drove 11 hours from Atlanta.
She could play right field if you need her to.
She may have to tonight. You've heard we're on a 6-game losing streak. You said it, Cleveland. The Hens have had it a little rough lately, which is why Carol Austin and her Great Pyrenees Austin are hoping. Can he bring this team good luck?
I hope so. He's brought me good luck, 10 years of good luck.
Couldn't hurt. Down 6-0. Bottom of the third. First hand up, doubles. But Mike is unimpressed.
That's a bulldog. I don't know what in the world would excite him apart from dinner.
Even if they win tonight?
He won't blink. He won't blink.
But this might make him think.
We were sold out for doggy tickets.
Yep, as Shelby, the 13 Action News Hound, found out. 180 dog owners paid $6 apiece, raising more than $1,000 for the Humane Society. Pretty good, considering.
We don't receive any money from taxes, anything from United Way. It's all on fundraisers alone.
Meaning the Mud Hens have made a few new friends and a few new fans.
I really like it down here. I think it's very pretty.
So you're going to come without Austin next time?
Yes.
We won't tell Austin that.
No, we won't tell him that.
Can he bring this team good luck?
I hope so. He's brought me good luck, 10 years of good luck.
Is he going to take Muddy?
As fireworks filled the 4th of July sky, nearly 100,000 Toledoans watched from Promenade Park. Well, these Toledoans picked the right spot to camp out today. Dozens of police were out, responding to threats of another attack on the first Independence Day after 9/11. The park was filled with dozens of police on land, boat, horseback, and even in the air, patrolling the entire area. And they weren't the only authorities on duty.
The Sheriff's Department, the Fire and Rescue Department, the Coast Guard, and city and government agencies have all participated.
$1 on a flag.
We searched this crowd of nearly 100,000 people, and those that we talked to today were not one bit concerned with their own safety.
I think if security here is more than adequate for it. I think it's not an issue at all. Why should I go live my life in fear when I know that, I'm in Toledo, we're safe here?
I really don't worry about it. I figure that they're doing their job and everything will be okay.
And according to police, this mission was safely accomplished.
Few would argue that Toledo still looks better from the east side rather than in it.
It just doesn't seem like anything's happening yet.
Well, if you build it, they will come.
Of course, Frank Cass is pushing several its, a new sports arena, apartments, restaurants, offices, theaters, all of which hang on fixing up Edison's old Acme power plant site.
I have a feeling it's going to take a while to get some of these properties taken care of.
We've spent the first year and a half on just cleanup stuff.
Which the Port Authority insists should be squared away by September if Ohio kicks in $6 million toward cleanup.
Everything we do has to be done in chunks.
Cass figures the new arena stands a better chance of flying with some rockets in its pocket, persuading UT that it's cheaper to make it its new home court rather than reworking Savage Hall. But why build more offices? Doesn't downtown already have space wanting?
If we end up simply moving a residence from the central core downtown office space to the riverfront, that will be of no value.
So, Cass says, Marina District office buildings will look more like suburban parks. But can he really bring in more movie theaters to a market some consider over-screened already?
You only have one good stadium seating theater in the whole market.
In other words, a segment underserved. But if you still have doubts, Cass says, look at the docks.
Every 21-year-old in town knows this is the docks. Okay? So sites become...
Voters have an unprecedented opportunity to improve learning for students in the Toledo
This
public
is the ad that's being run on several television stations in Toledo. Superintendent Dr. Eugene Sanders talks about the importance of Issue 2. But here's why the Save Our Schools group is upset.
But if Issue 2 fails, the state money goes to other cities like Cleveland or Columbus. Toledo gets zero.
The Save Our Schools campaign says that's not accurate.
And they continue to try to pressure us into voting yes on this issue because they make us think we got one time and the money's going to be gone. Well, that's not the fact. The money will be there next year till 2003 in August, and we've got 3 opportunities to pass this levy.
Sanders stands by his word.
The specific reference to Toledo gets zero is factual. If we don't pass Issue 2, we don't get any money. We do indeed get zero, and for school districts that pass their levies, Cleveland, Columbus, Cincinnati, and Dayton, those school districts will get their share of the dollars from the state.
The superintendent says there's no guarantee the state will foot 77% of the bill next year. But Issue 2 opponents say they are adamant about saving schools.
There are people in this community that want to save schools, whether they're historic or whether they just like the building or they like where it's at.
This is our once-in-a-lifetime opportunity to provide an educational future for our district for the next 75 years. We've got to get this right. For our children, the future for our children.
And we thought this whole block was going to go up because you could feel the heat.
Even before firefighters took over, residents in this East Toledo neighborhood attempted to rescue the kids trapped inside.
They tried. That house just was so engulfed. It was just horrendous.
Now this block is overwhelmed with shock and grief as they remember the 4 children that couldn't make it out.
Homes can be replaced, but lives can't. And I feel so sorry for the people in the other home. That's all I can say right now.
This is just devastating to our neighborhood that 4 little kids had passed away in this fire.
Investigators say the children were all members of an extended family. Their names have not been released, but their ages have. The oldest, a 17-year-old, then a 12 and 11-year-old, and the youngest was just 3.
She was such a sweet little girl. She would always stare in my front door because I have 2 dogs.
Friends and family are now looking for some way to help the family who lost 4 young lives this Sunday morning. It was supposed to be a routine traffic stop when officers noticed a blue Ford Escort with no license plates. They tried to stop the car, but they say the driver took off, going the wrong way on 795 at times and going fast.
He was going in excess of 100 at times, and I don't know how fast he was going when he went off the road, but you can see how far he left marks on the grass here and how much damage there is to the vehicle. He was going pretty good when he hit the tree.
This is what's left of his car. Diana Pylant was just about to pull out of her driveway when the driver crossed her property and smashed into her neighbor's tree.
When he hit the tree, it was just like dust everywhere. And it was just like, all I yelled out was call 911. I wasn't thinking that the police were behind him.
Julia Spencer and her mom got home right after today's crash and found the wrecked car in their front yard.
It was scary.
She says this has happened twice before. Once, a motorcycle crashed here, and another time, another car accident. But this one, she says, had the potential to be the worst of them all.
There was police here, and I thought it was my neighbor, but my mom thought it was my dad, and we didn't know what was going on.
Dad was okay. He was in the house and didn't hear a thing until his wife and daughter came in and told him about it. And had these trees not been standing here, the car could have ended up in this family's living room.
Police say 18-year-old Joshua Rubin didn't put up a fight when they raided his house this afternoon. They handcuffed him, led him away, and charged him with selling drugs to other kids.
We've confiscated amounts of morphine. Hand-to-hand sales have been done with ecstasy. We've confiscated a large amount of what we believe to be mushrooms, magic mushrooms.
Detectives say after a year-long investigation, they had enough evidence to bust the teen. With a SWAT team in place and a K-9 unit ready to sniff out drugs, they arrested him.
We have confiscated a couple firearms out of this residence. We believe that this situation was a high-risk entry, and we wanted to make sure it was done safely for everyone concerned.
Police say Ruben was selling drugs from this $500,000 home to kids in the village.
The amounts that we have, we believe are significant. We think that we have made a major impact to the drug activity in and around Ottawa Hills with this arrest and with this search.
Neighbors said off camera they've suspected drug activity at the house for years, and they relieved the teens in custody. This is what Ruben's younger brother had to say about the arrest.
Before they came here looking for another kid, and he was in here, and they busted him for, they said that he had marijuana and stuff with him, and they were with a friend in a Jeep, and they just pulled him over, and they said they were intoxicated and stuff, and they found like all kinds of stuff.
Police say Joshua Ruben was a major supplier of drugs within Ottawa Hills, and no comment yet from Ruben.
Very. I'm upset right now. I'm upset right now because they took my dogs.
Sabrina Walker had 2 pit bulls. She says one was chained inside here and the other one was sitting outside in her yard without a muzzle.
Dogs that improperly confined.
That's when, during a random check, the dog warden and Toledo police confiscated one of her pit bulls.
They weren't barking or nothing. They puppies.
But powerful puppies nonetheless. Having 2 vicious dogs in Lucas County is illegal, and so is having a dog outside without a muzzle. In just an hour, the dog warden captured these 4 vicious dogs, including Walker's pit bull.
Come on, boy. Come on.
And in a separate incident, Toledo police picked up this pit, wandering the streets.
If they're off the owner's property, the pit bull has to be muzzled. So it has to be not only muzzled, on a leash, have a license, have its rabies shots, be not handled by a juvenile or a drunk.
And they say this vicious breed is often used to keep the cops out.
A lot of the areas where you have your strong known gang areas, you'll see a lot. You say it goes hand in hand with some of the gangs and drug dealers. So you can find them in those areas.
And they all walks down the street.
Walker says she got her pits for security, and she thought they were cute. But now,
I gotta go to court for it. I got cited for it, and I'm upset for it because I don't know, you know what I'm saying? I didn't know nothing about it, so it's something that I wasn't aware of.
If you were aware of, would have you kept...
Yeah, if I was aware of it, I would have never had him sitting out there with no muzzle on their head, knowing that police... Right.
The road's ever-changing when you make your living on it. But since September 11th,
we see an extra increase in DOT out there and stopping chemicals and hazmat loads.
I can't say I'm an innocent bystander because it affects everybody in the country.
And because truckers log more miles in a year than most of us will in a lifetime, Ohio and other state highway patrols want to put them on guard for America.
Get extra eyes out there to alert us of things going on that shouldn't be going on.
Training, mostly common sense.
Say a trailer's been sitting out here and it's been sitting here for a couple of days, open it up and look at it. Make sure that somebody hasn't put something in it that don't belong in there.
Highway Watch truckers will have a special poster on the back of their trailers, special code numbers so police won't have to answer crank calls. Thing is, a lot of truckers live almost by a stopwatch, trying to eat, fill up, sleep, check their logbooks, call home. Would they have time to see anything? Of course, it may be pretty simple.
Sometimes we see and hear more things than an officer can see and hear because a man in a uniform, people don't talk much. If you know what I'm saying.
Just look, the common kind of things that you normally do, but just take a double take.
Vern Garner plans to sign up all the drivers based in his company out of Findlay. Dave Knight says he's more than willing to be a knight of the road.
But I look at it as everybody's got to be on their guard because you don't know when it's going to happen again.
Gee, weren't you kind of expecting strawberry fields forever? Whatever. What is clear here in Springfield Township's Community Homecoming Park?
The strawberry shortcake is what people come for.
Think of it as word of mouth.
You want something that's got good consistency. You don't want the real dark red because they tend to rot out and mold faster. That 80-degree week that we had back in April, that was wonderful for us. Nothing could have been better.
Rick Haskins ought to know he's supervising on this, the Board of Education's night to staff Shortcake Central.
Another regular child and one adult, both with...
In case you're wondering, that's the school superintendent.
The other 2 days we've got baseball teams and the parents that are doing it, and the other 2 days are the Springfield Soccer League.
All volunteers raising money to do good and keep various groups out of the red. Of course, red's tough to avoid around here. Take this reproduction vet, which Valvoline's taking
the 24 cities in 75 days to raise $75,000 for Big Brothers Big Sisters.
2,500 of it raised right here.
10 minutes, 10 money.
Of course, the Strawberry Festival itself's hoping to rake in about 35 grand, thanks to lots of Brandon McFellon spending
Mom's money.
which suits Mom fine, because
I don't like to get my hands dirty, so I just come here.
where somebody else does the picking and mashing.
I already had my turkey, now I'm out shopping.
Sharon Geiger filled up on turkey this afternoon and filled her shopping cart with bargains tonight.
It's excitement to get all the bargains, save some money, and just and just do your shopping. Start your shopping.
While the day after Thanksgiving is often called the busiest shopping day of the year, many bargain hunters couldn't pass up today's sales. Some simply wanted to beat tomorrow's mall madness.
I'm gonna try to avoid that. I may be out tomorrow if I don't get everything I need today.
I plan to go out tomorrow again, but you had to get the Thanksgiving sales too.
With the Christmas jingle in the air, shoppers found plenty of good deals.
The 5-disc DVD player.
Wait a minute, there's rats in here.
Oh, those are hers.
She picked those out.
She likes playing with rats?
Yes, she does.
But some other kids had a wish list Santa probably won't mind.
Maybe some baby dolls, Barbie doll, and some Polly Pockets.
Whether you're getting toys or whatever,
You stand in line, and you wait, and you wait, and you wait.
if you plan to fight tomorrow's crowds, remember to be nice. This guy's watching.
Santa Claus is coming to town. Gather round. He's making a list, checking it.
Well, I have a lot of pride doing this.
Laura Capps puts on thousands of flashlight switches a day. Capps and her co-workers at Fayette Industrial Coatings assemble nearly every flashlight used by the U.S. military.
It makes me proud to know that I'm helping out the military, you know, giving them the flashlights they can see in the dark.
The most famous is the olive drab flashlight. Crews start with a stripped-down tube, then the belt clip is added. After that, workers install the metal contacts for the batteries. Then they put on the switch. Finally, each unit is tested, inspected, and boxed up.
I inspect these, make sure that everything's right before I pack them.
Yeah.
Want to do that, make sure that we don't send nothing that's bad for the guys overseas.
78 years ago, partner company Fulton Industries in Wauseon started making the GI flashlights. Today's plastic 90-degree angle lights haven't changed much over the years. One thing's for sure, there's a lot of pride here. Everybody who builds these flashlights know that someday they may end up with U.S. soldiers in battle.
It makes us feel good. You know, it's we take pride in what we do.
It gives me pride to know that I'm doing something for our country, and I try to remind people that, you know, it's just wonderful to know that you're doing that.
Workers say while these flashlights may be a small part of any war effort, it's still an important one. Vivian Burden says she's glad to know a soldier can depend on flashlights she put together.
It makes me feel good, proud of that, you know, that they're going to be using what I'm handling here, you know. Very good.
The vehicles were on fire, both the van and the tractor trailer. They were completely engulfed when the first officer arrived.
40-year-old Jose Reynoso was killed while he was trying to fix a flat tire on his van that was stalled in the right lane. Troopers say there were a line of trucks approaching. Most of them were able to swerve out of the way and avoid the van, except for one truck that couldn't.
This was one vehicle in a line of trucks that apparently, when he came upon it, didn't have enough time to stop, couldn't make a lane change, couldn't avoid striking it.
Right after the truck collided with the stalled van, witnesses say flames shot into the air. 2 others who had been in the van were also outside. One of them was hit and thrown into a tangled mess of fire and metal. Seconds later, 3 Good Samaritans pulled him away and may have saved his life.
The other guy was about 50 foot away against the wall. So me and another Plainfield City fireman came up from Michigan, and a truck driver, and we grabbed him and pulled him across the road and got him out of the fire because it was just getting too intense.
There's very little we could do for the one gentleman, and the one was actually must have been thrown all the way to the other side.
The crash caused a traffic nightmare in both directions. Some waited in their cars for 4 hours, but Brian Dial says after what he saw, the wait is trivial.
You really start to think about and count your blessings, and because it was 2 seconds away from really happening to us, so we're very fortunate and very lucky.
The snow fell at its heaviest this afternoon, combined with gusty winds, making it hard for drivers to see. It caused dozens of car accidents all over the region. Look at this stretch of US 23. This was a day-long battle for all drivers, including fire and police. It took a toll on response time today and created a dangerous scenario for rescue crews.
We have to slow down a little bit for our own safety and the public safety. The important thing is that we do get to the site where we're going.
These guys make a living driving in the snow. Imagine driving 35 miles an hour for 16 hours a day. That's the time put in by ODOT's army of snowplow drivers on Monday. On Monday alone, George Simbas went through more than 35 tons of salt and traveled more than 250 miles, just plowing state highways and streets. His shift, an exhausting 16 hours from 6 a.m. Monday until after midnight.
After 16 hours, I mean, that's enough of time to get out anyhow, so it's time to go home, get a bite to eat, get a shower, get in bed, and you're back up again, right back in the saddle again.
At 8 Tuesday morning, he'll be right back in this truck, and ODOT officials tell us he and ODOT's plowing team will be there until the roads are all cleared.
Reporter Jason Martinez is live in Ottawa Lake, Michigan tonight with more on the effort to catch this crook. Jason?
Well, Lee, Ottawa Lake is one of several communities to be hit by this burglar, a man who is still on the loose, and he's targeting homes just like this, homes of the elderly that are poorly lit, and in these people's case, they are getting ready to install a security light, but it may be too late. They've been hit twice.
She woke up and said, "Hey, what are you doing here?"
Carl Vandersea and his 88-year-old sister Hulda laugh it off now, but this is the second time they've been robbed by the same guy, a man who police say has burglarized at least 12 homes since early April.
He walked into her bedroom. He was right at the end of her bed.
Police suspect the burglar first went there, cut off that phone line, walked across the side of the house, found a ladder sitting right there, then walked up the ladder and used this door to get in.
We share their sense of angst, quite frankly.
Police in 3 counties, including Lenawee, have little to go on, but they say he appears to be acting alone and gets away with only a few dollars and some antiques. He stole $60 from Carl.
I use considerable money because she's on a liquid diet, and we go shopping a couple times a week. And I've got to keep fluid, you know. I've got to keep the stuff on hand.
Meantime, police are asking people to check up on each other.
If you have neighbors who are older folks, be your brother's keeper. Keep an extra good eye on them. Check on them. Don't be afraid to ask how things are going.
Things in Ottawa Lake are on hold, but people here say now they're aware.
You know, I'll tell you, this woke the neighborhood up.
And police say so far the man and the suspect have not physically threatened any of the folks when he robs them, like this house here, but he just walks in, demands the money, and then runs away. And since he's, in certain cases, cutting the phone line, police are urging many people to keep their cell phones handy. And in this case here, they actually supplied a cell phone to the people who live in this house. And if you have any information regarding these burglaries, you're urged to call the police. Reporting live in Michigan, Jason Martinez, 13 Action News Night Beat. Lee, that robbery happened right about peak traffic time here in this area, right about 3 o'clock when school just down the street had let out, and that's when police say 2 armed gunmen came into this Kazmeyer's grocery store demanding money. One had a sawed-off shotgun, the other had a handgun, police say. No one was hurt. I repeat, no one was hurt, but there were customers inside this store when it happened. And just a short time ago, we spoke with the cashier, who appears to have handled this frightening situation intelligently.
One went straight for the office, the other one headed straight for me and asked me to open up the drawer, and I didn't register to me what was going on until he asked me a couple times, and then he actually pointed his rifle at me and said open the drawer and give him everything inside.
Now, police say the 2 men took off in a maroon Pontiac Bonneville and headed toward Maumee, and they say they don't have much to go on in terms of a license plate or a physical description of these men. That's why they're asking the public to give them a call if they have any information. In the meantime, Kazmeyer's here has reopened after about an hour and a half of being shut down while police took fingerprints. That's the latest from South Toledo. Jason Martinez, 13 Action News. Back to you. Another day of silence from the New Hampshire Attorney General's office regarding the whereabouts of Manuel Gehring and federal agents. But today, 13 Action News has learned the search for the bodies of Philip and Sarah Gehring is on, just to our west. The sheriff did confirm that Manuel Gehring spent the night here in LaGrange County, Indiana, but later said he was released in the custody of federal agents. No word on whether Gehring is cooperating, but agents are getting help from not only the LaGrange County Sheriff's Department, but also the Indiana State Highway Patrol. They say the search is covering 3 counties in northeast Indiana that include Elkhart, LaGrange, and Steuben counties. State police tell us the search was widespread, covering county roads and I-80, the route authorities think Gehring took on his way from New Hampshire to California.
Bowling Green, not long ago, 13 Action News reporter Jason Martinez standing by live at the Wood County Airport. Jason, what's it look like?
Well, Lee, we're actually here at the Aviation Training Center here at Bowling Green University. You can see behind me the damage I'm holding right now, holding part of the roof from this training center. The damage is extensive all throughout Bowling Green, but this seems to be the worst of it. You're looking right now at the roof. That's part of the roof that collapsed over this building. Now it's just folded over this building. And the damage around this airport is extensive, as we said. Part of the hangar has blown off the roof. This is actually the training center, and as you can see, the entire building has been evacuated. Police are not letting anyone else in this building because they feel it's just too dangerous. And we are waiting to speak with the police chief here in Bowling Green, but he is awaiting the public relations department. But as you can see all around me, all this is part of the roof here at Bowling Green, here at the Aviation Training Center. Nobody was hurt, I might add, but as you can see, the damage stretches all the way across the street. And now we are just told that Bowling Green is under a level 1 emergency. As we said, we went all of the area. We went around all over here, and there's damage everywhere else. But this seems to be the worst of it. There's floods in residential areas. There is also things like this. There are planes that were part of this airport that have been blown about 30 to 40 feet. Damage to those as well, and now they are telling us to please stay off the roads for now because of the level 1 emergency, and we're going to have a lot more here in Bowling Green in just a moment. Guys, back to you. Tonight, Toledo's average gallon of gas ran $1.74, according to AAA. That's a record high for the month of February.
I try and get as little gas as I can, try and get by until it goes back down.
I think we're going to probably do what we need to do. You know, I mean, it's going to be whatever it is, we're going to pay it.
A couple of weeks ago, $1.50 for a gallon of gas wasn't that great a deal. Tonight, it's a bargain. Look at this packed speedway on Airport Highway.
Getting it 20 cents cheaper tonight's not going to be the answer to the problem, but hey, it helps. I got to get gas.
So why is it so high? Bob Richard owns 11 Toledo gas stations. He says there are a half dozen reasons, including cold weather and an oil worker strike in Venezuela. But he says as long as the threat of war is there, don't expect a break at the pumps.
Gas prices are just pretty much like the stock market. When there's bad news, bad things react. And that's the same thing. It's prices going up because there's probably going to be a war.
Look at the difference. Last year at this time, the average gallon of gas, $1.12. Today, almost 50 cents higher at $1.61. Numbers that lead these drivers to ask the question, is the end near?
There's really no way to say, when are we going to war? How long will the war last? Will there be any supply disruptions? It's just very hard to say. It could be over tomorrow. The price, somebody at the UN inspector could say something to be all over.
What having a good old cop sitting out here watching you, you know?
The city says these cameras are doing just fine patrolling intersections. Now the cost of blowing through a red light is going up. The new fine will cost you $95. That's a $20 increase. Some say it's a small price to pay to feel safe on the roads.
I think it's a good idea. Too many people are running red lights, and I don't know about the speed thing, but if you follow the rules, you don't have to worry about it.
Tonight, Toledo City Council approved the increase, partly because it will bring in more money to the city. Councilwoman Wilma Brown says right now, too many people just aren't paying the tickets.
Anytime a fee is raised, people will take more exception to it and they will start paying. A lot of them are not paying the $75, they're just overlooking it. But when you go from $75 to $95, you pay that attention.
Like them or not, the number of red light cameras are also growing.
They're probably raising the fine because they're going to put more in, so they got to pay for it somehow.
Brown says the city is considering adding 5 more cameras across the area, bringing the total number of red light cameras to 20 in Toledo. Still, some drivers have mixed emotions about them.
Anything that would stop accidents or make people think or look, I think is a good thing, but only if it's consistent, and I don't think it's consistent.
Did you actually fall on?
69-year-old Joyce Heineman was walking home from a nearby senior center when she says a man came up behind her, knocked her down, and snatched her purse. He did it right in front of an off-duty police officer's home.
I looked and he was grabbing her purse and she was trying to yank it back and he started running, so I put on my shoes and ran out the door after him. My dog came out with me. We were both chasing him.
21-year-old Eric Stevens was eventually caught and arrested after a foot pursuit when Cartwright and Toledo police officers chased him down.
It's chicken, basically. Anybody can pick on an old person. She was an easy target for him, and he took advantage of her.
Heineman couldn't say exactly what happened because she doesn't remember much from this afternoon. She has Alzheimer's.
I fell when he grabbed my purse.
Her family didn't even know what happened until we showed up to talk with her tonight. Instead of us telling them the story, we took them to the man who saved her.
So it happened on our street?
Yeah, right in front of our house.
And she told me that she just fell. And I couldn't imagine how she fell like that.
The 69-year-old walks blocks every day, and after today's events, her family is thinking about keeping her home.
I take care of my mom every day on a daily basis, and I worry about her when I'm at work and what am I going to come home to, and now this will be on my mind for a long time.
Tonight, the purse is back with its rightful owner, an owner who doesn't remember much, but knows enough to appreciate what Officer Richard Cartwright did today.
Do you think he's a hero, though, for helping you out?
Oh, yeah.
The French market's definitely taking a hit in sales.
Many of you may enjoy a fine glass of French wine, but some local customers like Barb Malloy will pass.
I don't intend to buy any French wines until this conflict is resolved.
And workers at the Vineyard in Westgate say they've seen a drop in French wine sales since French leaders announced opposition to an attack on Iraq.
Pretty much it's just something under their breath. I'm not going to support the French. I'm not going to buy a French wine.
Employee Tim Schwab says the controversy couldn't come at a worse time.
It is the year of the Bordeaux.
He says there will be plenty of people who still want what's known as that landmark 2000 Bordeaux. Plus, others say politics won't stop them from sipping.
Boycotting French wine isn't going to make the slightest bit of difference in any kind of political situation. So whichever side of the issue you're on, I think it's kind of a moot point.
And the French wine woes don't end at the Vineyard. While folks at this restaurant say that sales here haven't changed a bit, they say that customers are still talking.
One couple said that they want to boycott anything that's made in France.
The restaurant named The Restaurant in Sylvania is known worldwide for its fine wines.
The customers that buy French wine will always buy French wine.
That may be the case, but people like Malloy think their gripes on France's grapes will send a strong message.
$300 bowlers at Southwick Lanes tonight, and almost all of them hate to see the PBA World Championship leave the Glass City.
I'm gonna miss it. Everybody's gonna miss it. Toledo's gonna miss it. Ohio's gonna miss it.
They're all full just like you see it is here tonight. Leagues are a big deal to the city of Toledo, and I think the PBA being here is just a big plus, and it's sad to see something like that go away.
Toledo being a bowling city, I think it really helped us out.
Starting Saturday, the pro bowlers will instead compete in Taylor, Michigan for the PBA World Championship. Behind the scenes, from a business standpoint, manager Fred Gradup says it's not the PBA business they're missing, it's the pros.
It's not a terrible effect. It's not a blow or anything like that. I think it's more of a disappointment that they're not here rather than an effect on the business.
The PBA came to Toledo 22 years ago. This guy was 66 years young then. Tonight, this 88-year-old is more concerned with his craft than this tournament. How do you do it? Bowling strikes like that?
Well, I try. I bowl the best I can, sometimes better than others.
As the flag waves, Toledoans may be at a shopping standstill.
Oh no, there's a concern. You always have to watch.
Toledo car lots, retail warehouses, and malls are noticeably empty. Perhaps because many Toledoans are staying close to home and keeping close tabs on the latest with the war. That's cause for concern if you ask local car dealers, especially if this war is anything like the first Gulf War.
As soon as that first bomb dropped, things quieted down pretty quickly in January of '91, so we'll see how that goes.
From the new car lot to the home improvement store. At nearby Home Depot, it's business as usual. A manager here says big ticket items such as refrigerators, washers and dryers, and other kitchen appliances are selling just fine. Some buyers aren't holding back.
If you need something, you got to replace it.
They know the routes, they know the targets.
At Southwick Mall, Toledo consumers seem to be more consumed by the threat of war than the idea of buying. Some people think spending money now is part of supporting our troops.
I do feel that way. I think they're over there doing their job, and I think we need to continue the economy the same as what it's been.
Other shoppers agree.
I spend money as normal. I don't see any reason to change. I buy what I need. I'm careful anyway.
To boot, expensive luxury items like rings and watches help the local economy too, and jewelers say they'll always sell.
People are still going to get engaged. They're still going to step up to the altar, war or not.
Well, the response has been overwhelming. People in this community, as we have seen time and again, they respond and they give very, very generously.
The local Red Cross is trying to get all of these care packages out to our troops overseas, but they have limitations, and with heavy donations coming from across the nation, delivering this stuff to them could take some time.
There's a limited number of these packages that we can send over every week.
Lip balm, toothpaste, foot powder, and of course deodorant, all necessary items for our troops overseas. But there's another way you can help, by buying things like diapers, toilet paper, and of course non-perishable food items to go to the families left behind. That's a brand new program called Operation Care, and it's designed to help the hundreds of Northwest Ohio families who might be struggling financially. Erin Bonk put a package of her own together tonight.
I really have a soft spot for the people who are left behind by the soldiers that go away, and I'd like to help them.
This man remembers how tough it was for his family while he was away years ago, serving in the military.
And it's a real hard budget that I've done it, and when you're only paid once a month, it's hard to stretch it out and make things last like you want them to.
The Andersons will be a drop spot for these family care packages all day tomorrow. So will Brontes Ford on Secor. After an outpour of support from last year's massive fire, the longtime dealership says it wants to give back.
What comes around goes around, and that's what we're doing. We're just giving out a helping hand.
As the grounds crew lays down the finishing touches, you could already sense the anticipation for tomorrow's Hens game, and that alone is doing wonders for downtown business.
A little bit of sunshine, a little bit of nice weather, and a little bit of cabin fever after the cold winter that we've had. Yeah, it's about time to let loose and be free.
It's almost as if Toledoans have put aside the war and are welcoming this change of pace. But this guy admits he won't forget the troops serving our country.
It seems everybody you talk to, they're kind of wanting something else on TV and just something to get away from it a little bit, you know. Still think about the guys there, but, you know, you need a little bit of break.
And the theme at tomorrow's opening day festivities will be heavy on patriotism. The ceremonial first pitch won't be thrown by a local politician or even a celebrity. Tomorrow, first pitch will be thrown by little Hunter here and 4 other kids with parents serving overseas. 1 kid for each branch of the military. Both of Hunter's parents are away in the Air Force. His grandmother says she is sure to tear up when he takes the field tomorrow. She just hopes tomorrow's game will help Hunter get his mind off the tough times without his parents at home.
He just said, wow, really? Well, he thought he was going to play ball, actually. It's going to be nice. It's going to be nice to see that he can enjoy himself like that.
I'm really excited.
What are you so excited about?
Being able to be out on the field for the first Mud Hen game of the year.
He's practicing his fastball with his cousin there, but the 7-year-old admits he's got a case of the pregame jitters. What are you nervous about?
Being in front of all those people.
Among other cuts, 10 deputies would lose their jobs if Hancock County voters say no. Instead of 5 officers patrolling the county,
going to 2 officers to handle a county of 72,000, it's just not going to work.
The county's asking for a 0.25% hike in sales taxes. With the increase, Hancock County's total sales tax moves up to 5.5%, still Ohio's lowest sales tax percentage. In tonight's meeting to voters, some business owners say they're afraid the hike in sales tax will turn away big-ticket customers. But that's a chance this guy's willing to take.
Like any business person, any individual, nobody likes to pay more taxes. But if we're going to put our lives in jeopardy and citizens in jeopardy, we got to have it.
Not all residents of Hancock County are as eager to approve it.
Saying this is a waste of time.
Mike Hendricks stormed out of the meeting tonight, and he says the real issue here is how the sales tax increase is being presented to voters.
It's going to just take and rob Peter to pay Paul. And that's all it's going to do. It's a general tax increase.
Sheriff Mike Heldman stresses that the Criminal Justice Department will see every penny of the $2.5 million that this increase is expected to generate.
I don't like taxes either, but I'm thinking, looking and talking to the people are seeing there is a need for law enforcement and the safety and security of the citizens of Hancock County.
Is the city of Toledo ready for a smoking ban? These 2 men have spent the past few years arguing that exact issue. Opponent Arnie Elzie, a successful bar owner, versus supporter Stuart Kerr, a health expert from tobacco-free Ohio. Before they debated their sides to a group of log cabin Republicans tonight, they argued for us.
Now he says it's a health issue. I say it's a business issue.
Well, of course, we like to eat and drink too. You know, we wish no business owner ill. And we're trying to convince them that it shouldn't have a negative effect.
Why can't I put a sign outside my door that says this is a smoking establishment, a smoking offensive, please don't enter?
Oh, not when you can get cancer or heart disease from secondhand smoke.
I can do whatever I want. It's my private business.
As long as it's a public place, everybody has equal access. There can be no discrimination.
Well, yeah, we can't discriminate because I can refuse to have service to you or anybody else as long as it's not for political, religious, or moral issues.
The whole debate may be moot soon. Toledo City Council President Luis Escobar says the city is only weeks away from approving a new citywide smoking ban.
I would imagine that by the end of this month we will have the ordinance completed.
Football fans are being turned on and discovering the power of big screen TVs. Here at the Appliance Center in Maumee, bigger TVs are being shipped out the door. while smaller TVs sit on the sidelines.
Big screens enhance the whole television process. I mean, watching it on the big screen, you can actually feel like you're there, and you see everything that's going on. You see the fans, you see all the action. You don't miss anything at all with the big screens.
Hundreds of these widescreen projection TVs will head out the door just in time for Super Bowl Sunday. This time of the year means big green for folks who sell TVs.
January is always a great month because of Super Bowl. Everybody wants to, watch the big game on their brand new big screen television, so sales are very good in the month of January.
Most Super Bowl fans say this screen's a little too small. This is more like it.
Okay, I'd rather see it on a big screen.
Now why?
Better picture, better sound, better quality.
So why do you think people just won't gather around something like this? It sure is cheaper.
Well, it's just like watching a postage stamp there. You definitely want something big and exciting and bright.
This warehouse is stocked to capacity, so last-minute shoppers shouldn't have a problem upgrading before the big game is over.
That wasn't the people who was trying to sue McDonald's.
Men and women who offer their lives for their country know that patriotism is not the fear of something, it is the love of something.
Veterans from past wars took many risks for our freedom. Despite their sacrifice, city memorial celebrations like this one in the past weren't crowded. But this year, it wasn't hard to drum up support.
It's always necessary to stop and give a memory to those that have sacrificed so much.
Saturday, veterans were honored in a parade and a special memorial ceremony. Most veterans say they appreciate the men and women who are currently serving our country. And it feels good to finally feel appreciated here at home.
Years ago, people in Toledo were more patriotic. They turned out for parades. Nowadays, it seems you got to bribe everybody to come to something. And that's not right. Every year they've been getting a little bit better, but this is the best one.
People of all ages showed support for the war heroes. Veterans say it's important that the children see their faces and hear their stories.
The kids can't learn personal experiences out of a history book. They got to hear it from the individual, and that's what we're trying to do.
These veterans remind us just how much our freedom costs.
We always have to remember that freedom is never free. It's since the inception of this country, it's been paid for by the blood of the patriots.
You may not hear the board against the wood now, but Highland Park will soon be the place to be, like Parmalee Skate Park in Lambertville, Michigan. Plans will begin rolling tomorrow, and neighbors are excited.
Anything that gives us a higher profile is better. Yeah, it's a nice place to live. We are really happy with this.
I think it's pretty exciting. I'm hoping that the kids will not tear it up, but make use of it. And actually, the kids around here are pretty good, so I think they deserve it.
Skateboarders agree that skate parks will keep kids from trying to bend and break the rules.
Like when I started skating and I was growing up, we never had any of this stuff, so it was all street and all cops yelling at us, getting harassed and stuff. So this gives everybody a chance to come and skate legally and not have to worry about problems and get better.
And of course, getting better takes time and a helmet. These skateboarders in Michigan say it will give Toledo kids and big kids something productive to do when they're not in school.
It doesn't matter if you can just roll up and down the ramps.
Maybe not.
As long as you're having fun, that's what it's about.
American food وعربي food.
Welcome to the 27th Annual Middle Eastern American Festival, where the culture is rich and the food is good.
And it's exactly what you would get if you were sitting in your grandmother's home or your mom and dad's house. That's what we would have. And it's a true sense of what the food is like, and our culture.
There's a lot to eat and a lot to see, and if you've never traveled the desert on a camel, you can get the next best thing by riding one here. That is, if the camel doesn't mind, and traveling only a few miles from West Toledo to North Toledo really takes you from the Mideast to Poland at the annual Lagrange Street Polish Festival. A lot of people are out here for the food. And of course the dancing, which is a huge part of the Polish culture.
There's more culture in Toledo than anywhere else. Listen to me, I'm English and I dance for a Polish group and a German group, so go figure. Plus there's also, like you said, the St. George's Festival this weekend too. Plus also there's the Irish Festival and everything else, then the Greek Festival, so there's a lot of culture in Toledo.
So if you're looking to hear ethnic sounds, or get a taste of Toledo's diversity, all you have to do is hit today's festivals. Christian Brown, 13 Action News.
If it's low like that, it's all right. Sunglasses, say, I'll be back.
It's a very serious case, a very tragic case. For the first time in this 2-week investigation, federal authorities are asking the public to help in the search for the bodies of Philip and Sarah Gehring. Authorities believe the bodies are buried between Grove City, Pennsylvania, and Joliet, Illinois, along Interstate 80.
The burial site is suspected to be within 10 miles north or south of Interstate 80. I know that's a large area to cover when you talk about Pennsylvania to Joliet, Illinois, and that's why we need your help.
The feds did release what they believe the burial site looks like. Nearby landmarks such as a wire fence, a mound of gray rocks, large shade trees, an embankment with eroding soil, and a pile of firewood. We found all those landmarks just driving west on the turnpike tonight. 450 miles of highway separate Grove City and Joliet, and the feds know the search will be demanding. Those landmarks could be anywhere along I-80, but some people say they're ready to help with the search now that they know what they're looking for.
If I ever see anything that's not normal, I would notice something like that. But yeah, I would keep my eye open if I'm back in the backwoods on a four-wheeler or something, definitely. See something that's not quite right, yes.
Action News Nightbeat reporter Christian Brown is live at the scene with more. Christian.
Lee, it happened around 9:30 at this Rocket carryout on Dorr Street. The suspect walked inside the carryout, pulled out a gun, and shot the owner twice in the torso. After firing the shots, he ran across Westwood behind this Domino's pizza place. Now, we're told by the employees, the owner who was shot, his name is Tony Allos. Right now, he's in surgery at Toledo Hospital. We're told when he left the place, he was talking. Now, we did talk to a man who was interviewing for a job here. He was in the cooler when it all went down.
We heard two pops, two loud pops. And as we were coming out, whoever the guy was still chasing or after the owner or whatever happened, because eventually that's who got shot.
An employee here had come out of the back room and encountered a man. 2 shots were fired. We don't know if there was a robbery. We don't know why. Whatever happened, happened. He was shot in the torso area. He was talking when he was taken out of here. He's at Toledo Hospital, probably undergoing surgery.
Witnesses say the suspect is a black male, around 6'2", 260 pounds. Last time he was seen, he had on a yellow sweatshirt and a black do-rag. If you know anything about this shooting, you're urged to call Crime Stoppers at 255-1111. Reporting live from West Toledo, Christian Brown, 13 Action News Nightbeat.
That's right, the Strawberry Festival is back for another year, underway right now in Springfield Township.
And that's why we... She can't even say anything.
I can't get it out. It's the rain on the
together.
brain. That's my new slogan.
Christian Brown is out there. She's having some fun, aren't you, Christian?
I am. Take a look at this strawberry. It's a big, fat strawberry. And if you like strawberries, this is the place to be. We've got strawberry shakes and strawberry pies. I like strawberries myself. They tell me they can make a strawberry shortcake in less than 60 seconds. I'm going to try and make it myself. That's why I got on the hat. Here to talk to me about that is Jim. And Jim, I would say your last name, but it's really hard for me to say.
Jim Gilsdorf. I'm the chairman of the Strawberry Festival.
Tell me, what makes your strawberry shortcake so good?
Well, most of our strawberries are local strawberries. They're brought in
Firefighters say it could burn for days. 13 Action News Night Beat reporter Jason Martinez joins us now live from Genoa with more. Jason, I can see the fire behind you.
Absolutely, Diane. Firefighters say it could burn for days. It's been burning for about 6 hours now. And look how close these flames are to the residents here at this trailer park in Genoa. Fire crews say all this straw that's burning, they're just going to wait it out. 13,000 bales of straw up in flames, and firefighters can only watch it burn.
If we have to, we'll make an aggressive attack and push it around and see what we can do, but this is not going to go out overnight.
When fire crews arrived, they dumped water, but the straw didn't respond. About 100 feet away, residents in this trailer park still fear the wind will blow smoldering straw at their homes.
I panicked. I probably came home, God bless me, policemen, but I came home at 60 miles an hour on the back roads and said, oh my God, this could be our house. And then they told us when we got here, if the flames would have blown this way, they could not save our trailer park.
And I saw the flames, and I thought actually it was our trailer. And I started crying, and because I have 2 dogs in there.
For now, the winds are calm, and fire crews are using fans and tractors to fight the fire. Authorities, meantime, say they've arrested 3 boys who may have been playing with matches near the stacks.
Unfortunately, you can't control everybody. I did see some kids out here, and I told them, I said, no, this is off limits, and be aware of that. And of course, kids are kids.
And fire officials out here in Genoa have faced burning straw before. They say the best way to fight this kind of fire is to let it burn itself out. But listen to this. That may take up to 10 days before the thing is finally out. And also they say residents here are going to keep a close eye on it. There are only a few, maybe none left of firefighters here keeping a close eye on this fire. They say it's just going to have to burn itself out. But residents still very much keeping a close eye on the winds and making sure that those don't pick up. Reporting live in Genoa, Jason Martinez, 13 Action News Night Beat. Happy ending here is that this elderly woman suffered only a minor injury to her hand, and she got her purse back. That's all thanks to an off-duty police officer who reports to duty right here in Rossford.
What did you actually fall on?
69-year-old Joyce Heineman was walking home from a nearby senior center when she says a man came up behind her, knocked her down, and snatched her purse. He did it right in front of an off-duty police officer's home.
I looked and he was grabbing her purse and she was trying to yank it back and he started running, so I put on my shoes and ran out the door after him. My dog came out with me. We were both chasing him.
21-year-old Eric Stevens was eventually caught and arrested after a foot pursuit when Cartwright and Toledo police officers chased him down.
It's chicken, basically. Anybody can pick on an old person. She was an easy target for him, and he took advantage of her.
Heineman couldn't say exactly what happened because she doesn't remember much from this afternoon. She has Alzheimer's.
I fell when he grabbed my purse.
Her family didn't even know what happened until we showed up to talk with her tonight. Instead of us telling them the story, we took them to the man who saved her.
So it happened on our street.
Yeah, right in front of our house.
And she told me that she just fell. And I couldn't imagine how she fell like that.
The 69-year-old walks blocks every day, and after today's events, her family is thinking about keeping her home.
I take care of my mom every day on a daily basis, and I worry about her when I'm at work and what am I going to come home to, and now this will be on my mind for a long time.
Tonight, the purse is back with its rightful owner, an owner who doesn't remember much, but knows enough to appreciate what Officer Richard Cartwright did today.
Do you think he's a hero, though, for helping you out?
Oh, yeah.
And as for that hero, Cartwright says he's always on duty, on duty 24 hours a day, and that he was just doing his job. Isn't that what all the heroes seem to say? Reporting live in Rossford, Jason Martinez, 13 Action News Night Beat. Now, there is a chance that the PBA tournament could come back to Toledo, but PBA officials say if it does, it most likely won't be on a world championship type level. And speaking of world champions, I'm not one of them, but everybody here seems to be just giving me the dare to go ahead and roll one. So I got to warn you, what you're about to see is ugly. Here we go. Reporting live in South Toledo at Southwick Lanes, Jason Martinez, 13 Action News.
Jason, what are the roads looking like now?
Well, Gordon, not quite what they were looking like, say, an hour ago, and all this white stuff started falling, which is probably good news when you consider how many Christmas Eve drivers were out there trying to get to their Christmas Eve destinations in what could have been treacherous driving conditions. Take a look over here at I-475. Traffic is flowing, but watch out, the snow's finally here.
Plans that we've made, walking in a winter wonderland.
The winter wonderland took its time falling tonight. The roads were salted, the skies threatened, but the drivers kept going.
No, that's why I got a big truck, and that's why I'm filling up right now at the gas station.
AAA's highway mechanics kept busy tonight, too. More drivers mean more work for them.
A lot of lockouts and a lot of flat tires, a lot of people out and about.
Yeah, I mean, basically, is this like the busiest time of year for you?
Oh, it's crazy. Yeah. Yes, it is.
AAA is projecting that more than 45 million Americans will do their holiday traveling by car this week. That's actually down 3% from last year. A big chunk of those drivers, 17 million, are coming from the Midwest and Great Lakes region. For most of the night, the roads stayed dry while traffic moved quite smoothly. That may be because some were trying to avoid the inevitable.
I'd rather be home with my feet up.
You trying to get ahead of the snow here?
Yeah. I heard it's coming, so we're going to try to get home, go throw a few logs on the fire, and relax.
How about Lynette Stewart, who could care less about the forecast snow? She's still got some Christmas shopping to do. Oh, you're still shopping?
Yes, last minute. And I have to find a leapfrog.
Pat Brown's leapfrogging around town, too.
Oh, yeah, everybody wants snow for Christmas. No.
Yeah.
Right.
But not right now, right?
Nah, not right now. Not till I get all my Christmas shopping done, which I don't think I'm going to do because all the stores are closed. And, of course, I guess I have to deal with the snow.
And as you can see, traffic flowing quite smoothly. Wait a minute, is that Rudolph's nose up there? A Santa sighting over the skies of Toledo, Ohio, everybody. Only on 13 Action News can you see that. Maybe they're trying to sneak a trip into Gordon Boyd's house there before he finishes anchoring the news. Happy holidays, everybody. Reporting live from West Toledo, Jason Martinez, 13 Action News. Back to you.
We can only hope. We do know that Jason is a true believer. Thank you, sir. What?
One, two, ready, hey!
It's definitely exciting. You know, we're eager and excited about getting a chance to go down and play the national champions.
The defending national champs, but I mean, that was last year.
I can't imagine the experience being anything less than electrifying.
It's going to be awesome.
I'm so excited.
I think we can do it.
As long as we're able to focus and concentrate on our assignments, you know, the number of people that are going to be there is not a distraction.
Falcons will play hard. That's what I can predict. We're going to treat it like every other game. I mean, we're playing in front of 100,000 fans. It's real exciting, and I cannot wait.
We think that we're ready, yes.
We play our game, we're going to come away with the victory.
And 13 Action News reporter Jason Martinez is live from the Seagate Center with the center of the action. Jason?
Well, Lee and Diane, the tournament will be here at the Seagate Center all week, with most of the winners getting a shot at Olympic gold, or at least a chance to qualify for the Olympics in Athens, Greece next year. Most of these boxers, though, have had a tough time on the streets and a tough time overcoming more than just their opponents to get a crack at Olympic gold.
Well, I'm nervous.
Pull jabs, triple jabs.
Once I get in the ring, I'll never leave.
Definitely see a future professional boxer here. You'll probably see numerous future professionals.
Well before the ring of the bell and the smack of the gloves, many of these guys were leading dangerous lives tainted by gangs and drugs. But Pell helped them fight through it.
It saved my life because the streaks almost snagged me, you know. And then once I got into the gym, it ain't nothing but discipline. So, you know, once I got in there, it kept me out of trouble a whole lot.
They're all fighting for a chance to represent the Stars and Stripes in the next Olympics, a feat that almost makes them forget about their troubled past.
It's really giving me a second chance. It's just, I'm so nervous right now, it's kind of hard to explain it.
Regardless of the outcome, if they win or lose, as he said, you know, long as he got something out of it personally and, you know, as far as his growing up.
Alvin Simpson brought a team from North Carolina.
You can beat this guy even more than what you're doing.
We're told he's a well-respected trainer.
Now get in there and get on this guy this last round. And don't run into him and hug him.
And a man who takes pride in his fighters winning.
Way to go, baby. Way to go.
Get ready, get ready.
Fire back when he misses.
6, 7.
If you're playing sports, you're not someplace getting in trouble, and that's what our goal is.
TPD's Sergeant Tom Youngs won't take the credit, but he's the man responsible for this tournament and why Toledo's local fighters are off the streets and in the ring. And as for the city of Toledo, it's been down for the count. The economy, that is, has been down for the count for quite some time. This is an event that hopes to revitalize our economy with thousands of fans and family members here to see this event, along with the hundreds of boxers here. But they say, organizers say, that the best part of this event is saving these guys from the streets, bringing them right here into the ring, and entertaining all these fans out here at the Seagate Center here. And it goes on till Saturday, and there's plenty of tickets available if you want to come out here. Reporting live downtown, Jason Martinez, 13 Action News Night Beat.
Wheels on, put your ridge, and you're all set. Start your turn, I got one. There you are, beam of him right now, that's him. 79, 79.
The whole goal here is to get voluntary compliance to the traffic laws. It's not to go out and write all kinds of tickets.
One plane, 3 sets of eyes, and a half dozen ground units teamed up to make Toledo police history.
We're flying about an hour and 15, 20 minutes at a time, and we're timing the cars through a quarter-mile zone. There's a whole mile marked off by ODOT.
While one pilot flies, the other one clocks.
He's moved over, he's in the middle lane now.
The faster the time, the faster the driver. And the driver has no idea the cops are tracking their speeds from above.
He's a teal car, blue car. Checking to see where the people are driving the fastest, and today our average speeder was in the upper 70s. 1137, what's that? 79?
The department paid to lease this plane using a grant to train its pilots. For almost 10 hours today, these pilots radioed ground units to nab more than 150 speeding drivers.
It's great. It's working great. There's always a few bugs in the first time you do anything, but it's working real good. The ground units seem real happy.
Police say it's not a speed trap, it's a tactic to boost its aviation unit and to slow you down. So if you feel the need for speed, slow down. You can expect to look up and see a plane like this circling again soon.
Oh, there's just a mess in there.
People who live on the 1500 block of Tecumseh say they're having trouble breathing these days. Neighborhood kids say the problem is the smell, and they have no problem describing it.
Poop. Poop. Poop.
You see, 4 months ago, the man who lived in this home died. He owned several cats, some now dead.
I seen one right there on the porch dead. Somebody picked it up and threw it.
And neighbors believe some might still be alive.
After he died, they were coming out the roof and just scattering everywhere. Someone broke in the back door, so they're coming out through the back doors and everything.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
Any kitties?
They're probably dead.
Oh, my God. Stacy Tom is an assistant for a local veterinarian. Neighbors hope that she would be able to find a home for some of the surviving cats.
From what I'm told, there's dead ones up on the steps. So I think it's terrible. I think it's absolutely terrible that they would have to live next door to it and have to smell it and nobody care.
Tom did find some kittens in the backyard, but wonders about what she might find inside.
We called the health department several times, and they said they'll put it on the list. We called the mayor's line, put it on their list, but no one ever came out.
Neighbors and other concerned Toledoans hope that someone will see the story and help.
Yes.
Because it smells stinky, huh?
Mm-hmm.
Those freedoms are not free.
We love you. We miss you. And hopefully someday we'll see you again. If Private First Class Juan Garza could hear his aunt's voice, that's the message he would receive. Juan's classmates, friends, and family shared tears of pain and pride for the fallen soldier.
He was always happy, and I think that the younger students can see how much he was loved by the high school and how much everybody who knew him loved him.
The family of Private First Class Christian Gertner, who was also killed in Iraq, was at the memorial service to show love and support to Juan's family.
We've had the opportunity to talk to Jody on the phone several times and email back and forth, and we need each other.
Christian's family was honored, and Juan's family was given this flag that was flown half-mast during the first half of the game. It will be presented to the school for display in remembrance of their fellow classmate who paid the ultimate price. Juan's family and Christian Gertner's family hope their sons will always be remembered.
We have a flag, we have a free country, and it's because of people like our sons.
Most absurd thing I've ever heard of in my life.
I think it sucks.
I think it's terrible.
It's bullshit.
I don't like it.
Terrible.
Just 10 days after Toledo's no smoking law took effect, Toledo's bowling alleys are already seeing a fall in business. Southwick Lanes says it's working on a ventilated room which will buy them a few weeks of smoking reprieve. But they say the outside competition is already leaving them in the gutter.
They're all are advertising, hey, bowlers, bring your cigarettes, come on over here. And it's hurting us. And that's just not fair to us, I don't feel.
Not fair because he says bowlers are splitting to places where they can light up. Tonight, leagues that used to be in Toledo are now rolling in Bedford Township.
If I was in that same situation, I couldn't see being able to survive for a year.
That owner isn't exactly thrilled with the ban either, but he's not turning the new teams away.
When it first came out, our phone calls were going crazy. We did pick up a few teams because of it.
This team now makes the drive up to Michigan from Toledo every week just so they can smoke them inside.
What are you going to tell when you got 5 guys that smoke on your team? Well, we got till November. And then what do you do for, we're bowling 33 weeks.
On the other side, a new surge of bowlers are rolling into Toledo alleys.
I'm all for it, yeah. It's real good. I enjoy it. I'm for it. I think it's great.
Great to them that they can breathe what health experts call clean indoor air. But will that enthusiasm strike owners as reason not to panic?
Well, I'm nervous.
Pull jabs, triple jabs.
Once I get in the ring, I'll never leave.
Definitely see a future professional boxer here. You'll probably see numerous future professionals.
Well before the ring of the bell and the smack of the gloves, many of these guys were leading dangerous lives tainted by gangs and drugs. But Pell helped them fight through it.
It saved my life because the streaks almost snagged me, And then once I got into the gym, it ain't nothing but discipline. So, once I got in there, it kept me out of trouble a whole lot.
They're all fighting for a chance to represent the Stars and Stripes in the next Olympics, a feat that almost makes them forget about their troubled past.
It's really giving me a second chance. It's just, I'm so nervous right now, it's kind of hard to explain it.
Regardless of the outcome, if they win or lose, as he said, long as he got something out of it personally and, as far as his growing up.
Alvin Simpson brought a team from North Carolina.
You can beat this guy even more than what you're doing.
We're told he's a well-respected trainer.
Now get in there and get on this guy this last round. And don't run into him and hug him.
And a man who takes pride in his fighters winning.
Way to go, baby. Way to go.
Get ready, get ready.
Fire back when he misses.
6, 7.
If you're playing sports, you're not someplace getting in trouble, and that's what our goal is.
TPD's Sergeant Tom Youngs won't take the credit, but he's the man responsible for this tournament and why Toledo's local fighters are off the streets and in the ring.
Feels on. Put your Rich, and you're all set. Start your turn. I got one. There you are. Beam of him right now. That's him. 79.
The whole goal here is to get voluntary compliance to the traffic laws. It's not to go out and write all kinds of tickets.
One plane, 3 sets of eyes, and a half dozen ground units teamed up to make Toledo police history.
We're flying about an hour and 15, 20 minutes at a time, and we're timing the cars through a quarter-mile zone. There's a whole mile marked off by ODOT.
While one pilot flies, the other one clocks.
He's moved over, he's in the middle lane now.
The faster the time, the faster the driver. And the driver has no idea the cops are tracking their speeds from above.
He's a teal car, blue car, checking to see where the people are driving the fastest. And today, our average speeder was in the upper 70s. 1137, what's that? 79?
The department paid to lease this plane using a grant to train its pilots. For almost 10 hours today, these pilots radioed ground units to nab more than 150 speeding drivers.
It's great. It's working great. There's always a few bugs in the first time you do anything, but it's working real good. The ground units seem real happy.
Police say it's not a speed trap, it's a tactic to boost its aviation unit and to slow you down. So if you feel the need for speed, slow down. You can expect to look up and see a plane like this circling again soon.
Glad to help somebody out.
I like that a lot. I mean, we try to help out.
Every Wednesday night, these bikers donate the proceeds of Hooters Bike Night to a local charity. 3.5-year-olds Michaela, Reyes, and Robert are the kids they're helping. Triplets who were born 2 months premature. Doctors didn't think Reyes would make it to see his 3rd birthday, but he ended up fairly healthy. But Robert and Michaela were diagnosed with cerebral palsy just weeks later, a disease that attacks their muscles.
They don't walk yet, and my one son, he doesn't even talk yet. We've got to carry him everywhere they go. My son, we still got to feed him because he can't feed himself. Raising one child is hard enough, but raising 3, and then especially 2 with special needs, is triple the problems, and you just need so much more. And there's so much care behind it that people don't really realize what you put up with and what you got to do.
The Garcias are hoping to add an additional room on the main floor of their home so that the kids don't have to climb steps. And that's where tonight's benefit comes in. Robert Garcia's sister says she's grateful for all of the local support.
My brother puts his life on the line every day as a police officer, so it's nice to know that someone's out helping his children because they need a lot of special needs.
The manager of Hooters says he hopes to raise at least $1,600 tonight so that the Garcias can have a little relief. Under the naked eye, this local hotel room looks like a decent place to lay your head, but under a black light, a totally different story. Tonight, under an ultraviolet light, we found a strange substance splattered all over the walls, the toilet, and the carpet. And when we pulled back the covers, stains on the blanket and the pillows. The sheets were clear of stains, but we did find several pieces of hair, one after another. These kinds of discoveries may make you want to travel with a black light every time you check into a hotel. Tonight we spoke with Jennifer Logsden. She's the general manager of Wingate Inn and Suites in Sylvania. That's not where we found these things. She says like other hotels, the Wingate Hotel regulates itself, but says there are things consumers can watch out for.
The big signs that everyone sees, if there's a hair in your sheets, hair on the bathroom floors, mold, mildew, dust piling up. I think those are obvious signs that a hotel is lacking in cleanliness.
If you assume that the comforters are washed every day, you're wrong. Not even here at the Wingate.
We change ours here twice a week.
Logsden says 2 or 3 times a year, a quality assurance specialist randomly comes in and inspects the hotel. The specialist checks 4 rooms on each floor. Logsden says she thinks it would be wise for the health department to take a more active role to make sure local hotels are clean.
If you're keeping your hotel clean and are consistent with it, you wouldn't have anything to worry about. But I think there are some brands out there that their corporate office may not be as consistent or as stringent with their quality assurance.
So how do you assure the quality in your next hotel stay?
The main thing would be to, we have bed skirts on our beds. Some hotels do, some don't. Just to pull up the skirt, make sure that around the bed frame is clean. If you can pull the bed back from the wall, check there, because a lot of times that's where hair will be, or dressers, to look behind a dresser, because those are going to be spots that aren't cleaned as often.
That way you don't miss things that you can't see with the naked eye. faculty and parents displayed their TPS spirit at today's levy rally. According to TPS, this renewal levy is critical.
There's $16 million at stake here, and that's a lot of money and a lot of positions, a lot of different situations. So we want to be optimistic and believe that all things will work out and that we're going to do it for our kids, because strong schools do indeed make for strong communities.
If the levy doesn't pass, this band will be silenced. And these cheers will be no more. Extracurricular events will be cut. That's something that worries students.
If this issue doesn't pass, all that stuff's going to be gone. Like, they're going to start cutting transportation, sports, all of that's going to be cut.
It also worries parents who say some students may get in trouble without these activities to keep them busy.
They meet more kids on the streets getting in more trouble because they have nowhere to go after school. Everything from the Daisy Troops to football. I mean, these kids look forward to this.
And others say,
without education, our city is not going to prosper. And Toledo Public Schools is in the eye to do it.
Students, faculty, and parents are hoping to beat the opposition. They hope the Urban Coalition, a group many believe helped defeat the first levy, gets this message loud and clear.
If this fails, you're not hurting any of the adults, any of the big people that everybody's mad at. You're hurting the kids. It is very important that this levy passes just for these kids.
Happy.
Words can't describe.
Very anxious. It's just really nerve-wracking.
Waiting for the one you love is never easy, but waiting a year for your son to return home from Iraq is even harder.
The last few months have been so stressful, so nerve-wracking, waiting and wondering, but now my answers of my prayers have been answered.
Around 5:20 tonight, Scott's family waited for him at the bottom of the escalator. That's when the anticipation began to really build.
Oh, no, that's good. No, it's not.
And build.
No,
And finally,
there he is. There he is.
their soldier arrived. Scott passed out hugs and kisses. He didn't miss anyone, even me.
Might as well. I didn't really notice that the news was here, or you guys were here, and then my sister goes, "You're on the news." I said, I'm not looking. So it feels good to be home.
Scott says he's looking forward to 3 things.
I'm sleeping, eating, and partying with my family.
Seeing him walk down the escalator, my heart just jumped for joy. I'm so glad he's home.
I feel great. This is the best feeling anyone could have.
Scott received a lot of love from his family. Even perfect strangers couldn't help but say thanks. Scott says he wasn't expecting all of the fanfare, or us for that matter, but he says he loves the support.
This is where soldiers live and die right here. This is with the support that they get from their families back home. It's great.
It's going to be a great thing for the city.
It's fun.
It's cool.
It's great.
It's fun and it's really close to my house. It's good for Toledo. I got that $540.
I'm just really surprised and pleased that we finally got something for the kids.
I think it's great that they have a place for the kids to go now, and a skateboard park's really innovative for the city of Toledo.
Thank you.
Yeah, a lot of times you can see what they're doing, you can talk to them, and usually they'll just tell you everything you need to know about the tricks.
The bikers do twists in the air.
Grind, hand plants. From what it looks like, it's a great mix of kids. There's probably kids playing together here that don't otherwise get a chance to get together in a safe and fun environment. So I think it's a really cool thing.
we can get this levy to pass. How can you not pass something for our kids?
It would take everything away from me.
And I think that they should vote for the levy.
Hundreds of parents packed the gymnasium at Waite High School for one last push for Issue 5.
They need to get a good education so they can get out into that workforce and get jobs and leave home.
Some parents say without a school choir and school band, a sports team and cheerleading squad, kids won't have anything to do, and they won't be eligible for college scholarships in those areas. That's why so many parents showed up. But so did the levy's staunchest opponent, the Urban Coalition.
I think they're going a little bit overboard. I understand that they have spent a lot of money on this. I think the money could have been spent wiser doing something else. We are urging citizens to vote no because we need more accountability.
Some parents were very angry that the coalition crashed the rally.
I have kids in the system. If my kids don't get this money, if we don't get this money, our kids lose. They don't understand that. They don't lose a thing.
We find our answers in this warehouse on Angola Road. That's where workers and volunteers work around the clock to make thousands of signs.
We've never printed 10,000 signs before.
David Croughton is from South Lyon, Michigan. In 1999, he was hit by a car and was put on prescription painkillers. Soon he turned to harder drugs, illegal drugs, like cocaine, to deal with the pain.
I went from being a man that I ran a company with 220 employees to a man that couldn't tie his shoelaces.
Croughton says Children's Services placed his 3 children, Christy, Jonathan, and Patrick, with his sister's family because of the drug use, even though his nephew is a convicted child molester, confirmed tonight through the Michigan Sex Offender website.
Hell. In one word synopsis, it's hell. I can honestly say, especially knowing my children are in a home, or have been in a home with a convicted child molester, laying there wondering if a grown man's touching my daughter.
Croughton and his wife lost parental rights of their children in 1999. They tried to appeal and they failed. Now they just want their kids back or in a home that's safe.
Because I have never hurt my kids. I never hurt my kids, and my kids knew how much I love them. I never imagined that they could do something like that.
Croughton says he's living on borrowed time. He was diagnosed with terminal cancer and was given 90 days to live 164 days ago. He says the drive to get his kids keeps him going. That's how Operation David's Children began.
He's cleaved to his creator and he's a completely different man.
Now David and his wife Haga are trying to keep David's sister from adopting the 3 children.
Only 10,000 more to go, guys.
10,000.
On April 15th, this mailroom is the most important place in the country. If your taxes don't sort through here by midnight, you'll get fined by the IRS.
But there'll be a lot of mail going to Memphis tonight.
On tax day, 600,000 pieces of mail move through these machines, nearly double a normal day's mailing. Too much extra mail to think about, much less count.
No, I don't count. I can just tell when the mail's building up.
And all day long, it's built up and will keep building up until midnight. Each machine sorting and processing Uncle Sam's precious tax forms.
This is the most important machine in the whole operation. This is the reason why so many people line up outside and make sure their IRS taxes get the April 15th stamp. This puts the postmark on your taxes.
And if these machines break down, add another couple hours to an already weary mail worker's night.
Probably about 4 hours extra, averaging. You beat when you go home? Pretty much so.